Today we're talking about the Sony 20mm 1.8 prime lens and 5 things you should know about before you decide to purchase it. Before I tell you all the cool things about this lens, I just want to tell you that you need to have balls of steel in order to just go out and vlog with any camera. You know, this massive lens, this massive body in a public environment, speaking is not easy. So yeah, I just want to say really well done to all of you who just do this day in, day out. It is not easy when people are just looking at you strangely. So this is a fantastic vlogging lens. That's what everyone will tell you about this lens, but that would be doing injustice to this lens because it's so much more than a vlogging lens. But of course, I'm starting out vlogging because one of the features that you get with this lens is the fact that it's 20mm. And that means that you can crop in with dynamic stabilization and still have enough room on every side of the screen. I'm having a look. And have my entire head in the frame. The other cool thing I want to mention about the 20mm is the fact that it makes my nose look normal. Unlike an ultra wide, a 16mm, where my nose would literally be touching the lens and it would make it look also all sorts of sizes. I just don't think that's something you get on this lens because the distortion on this lens is nowhere near as bad as it would be on an ultra wide lens. The other interesting thing I want to mention about the 20mm is the fact that it's 1.8 and it will probably handle darker spots better than the usual f4 because it's 2 extra stops of light, which is fantastic because when you enter a slightly darker spot like this, the ISO has jumped up to 1000, 1250 to try and keep me all looking pretty, but hey, that's okay. If this was an f4, and I can do that right now. This is f4, and that jumps to 4000. So that's just added a little bit more noise in different situations. And I've gone from f2.8, by the way, to f4. I turn it all the way back to 1.8, and the ISO is 640. So, you know, it's gone from 640 to 4000. It's a massive difference. And then of course when you come outside into the light and I look crazy bright, I turn the ND filter on. Hey, perfect. So that's the other cool thing. 1.8 gives you 2 extra stops of light. That's enough of me. My hands are tired. Let's get back to the studio so I can talk more about this lens. Right, so we're back in the studio, or my living room, and I hope you enjoyed that outside part. You know, I don't think people give vlogging enough credit or how hard it is. I found it super difficult just so that I could educate and entertain, and there was definitely some entertainment in there. I don't know if there was any education, but if there was, then do give this video a like and subscribe because I can make more of this for you. I can, you know, entertain you, hopefully. But going back to the vlog that I made outside, and the first thing I said in the video, which was that people are underselling the 20mm as just a vlogging lens. It's so much more than that. It's a fantastic photography lens. It can take photos of landscape, portrait, like this, maybe photos of this, astrophotography, and so much more. And here are some photos that will make you think twice about just calling it a vlogging lens. And if you were unsure, those photos will make sure that you're aware this is probably one of the sharpest lens on the market for the Sony at this wide range, right? It is fantastic at 1.8, at 4, at 20 when I'm doing astrophotography. it is fantastic. It has very little barrel distortion, and that can be fixed on Lightroom, of course, but it has very little barrel distortion, and the sharpness across the board, edge to edge, it is fantastic. So yes, I love this lens, if you didn't already know. So you know that I love this lens, but there are alternatives out there. I don't want this video to just be about the 20mm. I want to really give you the option of picking the right one for you. The 20mm is the right one for me because I pair the 20mm with a 28-70 Tamron, which is a fantastic lens. But in the Sony ecosystem, if you just want to carry one lens, then there are alternatives. 3. Up until this video was scripted 2 days ago, there were 2 lenses, but now there are 3. So the first one is the Sony 20-70 f4, which has the same wide as this 20mm, but then it's a zoom range. You lose the f1.8 to f4, so you lose 2 stops of light, but it gives you a little bit of breathing room and being able to just travel with one lens, pack light, and get the wide as well as a little bit of telephoto, which is fantastic. The other option is the Sony 16-35 f4. Again, you lose 2 stops of light, but you get an ultra wide at 16, and you get the 35 for street-ish portrait kind of situation. So those are the 2 alternatives that kind of cater for the all-in-one, one lens, travel, pick up and go, versus this 20mm, because at this 20mm, you're going to be stuck at that 120mm length and you're not going to be able to go any further with it. So that is something to consider if you're thinking about buying a lens for your Sony ZV-E1 or any camera in particular, really. But I go back to the fact that you will lose a couple of stops of light, you will lose sharpness. Neither of those 2 lenses are as good as this 20mm prime purpose-built 20mm lens when you compare to the zoom range. So it is all about trade-offs, right? Do you have a bag that you can carry 2 lenses in? Or do you just want to carry 1 lens? Those are the kind of questions I can't answer for you. You just have to figure it out yourself. So there you go. The 20mm f1.8 from Sony is a fantastic lens. It does have its limitations if you're just thinking about getting 1 lens and 1 lens only for yourself. But if you have the room and some spare cash, and you're thinking about getting a wide-ish, ultra-wide-ish lens, which is sharp, and it will do you great when you're vlogging or taking photos, then I wouldn't look any further than this one. I'm Sohail, and I will see you in the next one.